All right, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. Another Wednesday, not Wednesday. It's actually Tuesday night here on under the lights here on Couch Coach Live. Got a great show lined up for you. Got a special guest. We got our guy. We got our guy. I call him X, but we call him government name. Xavier, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Yes, and obviously
What's up,
Xavier
man?
X. We'll call him X for the show. We'll call him X for the show. Two Shots Productions, Keep It Media, and also part of Legacy Maker Sports. Shout out to our guy Darrell and them. And matter of fact, that's where we met. It was funny when we was at the University of Richmond football game. And then when the cannon went off, of course, we only for the culture we damn near ducked. So you know how that goes. So we here and what's cool?
If you're not used to that cannon, it'll definitely catch you off guard.
Yeah, that was scary, man. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, what's going on, Mal?
Mm-hmm. What's up, man? How's everybody? We back.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's good. Just same old. Just
right.
Working, grinding, man. Yo.
All of us. Right.
Yeah, man. So show. So we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We'll recap last night's game with the Knicks and the Celtics. Also, the Wolves and the Warriors. Pretty much the Knicks and the Wolves are pretty much on the verge of going to the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, respectively. Then also, we got to talk about some other major NBA news where Michael Jordan was named a special contributor for NBA on NBC, so we'll talk about that. The Mavericks winning the draft lottery. Nico was able to sleep last night, potentially. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the opening of the NFL season. It was announced yesterday of the two teams that will be playing on September 4th for the opening week of the NFL season. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about Derek Carr retiring, and we'll round out the show with our final thoughts and game ball. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna kick that intro, and we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live, and we'll be right back at this intro. Yes, and big shout out to Big Kirko, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. And this week's Couch Coach Live is powered by SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Use our promo code CouchCoach to get yourself $20 off your first purchase by using SeatGeek. So we are back at it again, fellas. So we got to talk about the NBA playoffs last night. We go in so many different directions. Obviously, we'll talk about the Knicks. We'll start off first with the Knicks win over the Boston Celtics, 121-113. Obviously, the big headline in that game was the injury of Jason Tatum, who actually ruptured his right Achilles. Actually, had surgery today and pretty much expected full recovery. Obviously, and we talked about it in the opening that the Knicks now have a 3-1 lead and they're one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. Guys, what was your guys' thoughts on Game 4? I'm going to go with you first, X. What was your thoughts on Game 4?
First of all, it was exciting game. Up until, like you said, Tatum got hurt. I felt like Tatum was having one of those moments. I felt like he was going for 50, and he probably needed to get 250 in order for them to win that game. But that Achilles injury, man, is nothing to play with. It can happen at the snap of a finger. So devastating. I don't see Boston coming back in this series. They look deflated, defeated after the Tatum injury. So if I'm New York, I go into Boston and I try to end it right then and there.
Thanks. What's your thoughts, Maui?
Just Boston's not playing the same, man. And I don't think it's the Knicks' fault. Like they still shooting a lot of threes. They shot 18 for 48 yesterday, and the Knicks was 12 for 34. That's from 3-pointers. But one thing about me, I have a great memory. And what I remember about last year was they shot a lot of threes, but they also were out rebounding everybody. And like when you look at, okay, Tatum had 8, Brown had 7, White had 3, Holiday had 4. Like Holiday is not producing like I think he should. I felt like he was one of the wild cards that saved a lot of the season. And then I don't think Jaylen Brown got 20 points. And the whole thing, this whole season going in from the Olympics was how Jaylen Brown was supposed to be the main guy. He won Finals MVP, right? So I just and then like just like Pritchard is out there, like seemed like he was trying to push the team to win. White had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 23 points. And I'm like, Pritchard's out there balling, and Horford had 5 points. Like they just, I don't know, man. I guess it's just, to win back to back, you got to have something extra. I felt like they had something to prove because all of them came back, but they just don't seem like the same team. I'm talking about, yes, I'm with you. Tatum was about to have something special, but I think that in some type of way, should have been more or less trying to get everybody else in the game. As a team, they only had 15 assists to Knicks 25. In the paint, points in the paint, 64 to 32. We all know who won that one. I just don't feel like. I feel like they're more offensive team this year than they were last year. Like they was a scrappy team. They was defense. They rebound, and it just seemed like the Knicks have another gear than them. But I felt like the Pacers did last year also. I just think that a lot of people were getting injured, and the Boston was able to result from that.
Yeah. It pretty much all the games pretty much been a microcosm, I think, in my personal opinion, of Boston not putting the pedal down. I think they gave the Knicks so many opportunities to win these games. Like, think about, obviously, game 1 and game 2 was eerily similar, where essentially they had leads, and then all of a sudden, the Knicks came back and they charged. And the same thing going in this game in game 4, where you look at it, where it was kind of to a point where it was pretty much close for the most part. But then it was crazy how, like, during that sequence before Tatum got hurt, that's when like the Knicks was making his run, and almost to a point having almost I think at the time they had like a double-digit lead. I think maybe like 8 or 9 when Tatum got hurt. And like you said, X, yeah, he was on the verge. He had 42 in that game. He like you said, if they would have came back and won that game, yeah, Tatum would have had 50 in that game. But just great performances. You just look at if the Knicks are on like they were last time game 4, it's gonna be really hard to beat them. I mean, you think yourself, especially from the offense standpoint, Jalen Brunson give you 39, Cat give you 23, and then even the surprising ones like Mikal give you 23, and then OG give you 20. Even I know you made, you want more from your bench, but those type of nights you just take what you get. And I think with that one, and then like you said, I think the Celtics, like you said, they're done. I mean, obviously they 3-1. I mean, they might have a chance to win in game 5, but I think the Knicks close it out in 6. I think, especially in front of their home crowd, it's going to be crazy if the series goes back to New York. That game 6, is going to be wild. Like it's gonna be a scene in New York, for them to make it. If they advance to the conference finals in that game 6, but yeah, and it's gonna be really interesting how the Celtics team, because a lot of people was looking at the Celtics teams. I know like Shams reported, which is funny. Like every little tea leaf is now breaking news. Just when it comes to Shams, like, well, the Celtics gonna make some change over the summer. Like they got 2 guys that's making over $300 million. So of course changes are going to get made. So it's gonna be really curious how Boston attacks this offseason, especially now with Tatum being out, and you're thinking that he'll probably be out. I mean, probably pretty much March. Maybe he may even miss the whole season potentially. It depends on how the Celtics.
I honestly think he's missing all of next season.
Yeah.
Even if they make the playoffs, I don't think he's coming back.
And I think, like I said, to keep him out as a precaution as well, because you not necessarily don't want to rush him, especially in this time of year. Because it's almost similar to like when Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, where he missed the whole entire next season, even though it happened in June in his situation in 2019. But it's eerily similar.
Yeah, but what helped KD was, I think the following year was the COVID year, so the league shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of prolonged everything, gave KD extra time to recover.
Yeah.
Because when he came back, he kind of came back like he never missed a beat.
Right.
So he'll have less time because that season started in December of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Versus it really would have started, it was in October, which we're thinking Tatum would be back, push come to shove. I would say push come to shove, but probably as far as from a precautionary standpoint, hold him until October 2026 is what we thinking potentially. But yeah, it's gonna be curious what the Celtics do now, because especially now with this injury, like how will they attack this offseason for sure?
I got a question. It's just to go with how the season was. If the way they got spanked, even though Tatum did get hurt, you think they keep their coach?
Mazzulla? I think so. I think they'll keep him.
Yeah, I think he gets one more year. I think he gets one more year.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think Brad Stevens is gonna do nothing antsy like that, like or what I call reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna give him at least a year, another year potentially.
Okay. Yeah. It's some coaches out there. There's some coaches out there though. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah. I mean, you got 2. Yeah. I mean, you got like a Mike Malone out there. But I don't necessarily think he would, like, as far as compared to Joe Mazzulla, because I'll give Joe Mazzulla a lot of credit because.
Me too.
Yeah, because I mean, you think about it, he came in as an assistant 4 years ago. He kind of got this job kind of in a in an unpredicted type of way. Like obviously what happened with Ime, you didn't you necessarily he was basically thrust into this role and perform, because a lot of the pressure was, hey, cause especially he's Mazzulla was an assistant on that 2002 team, that 2022 team that went to the final, and now it's like, okay, this happened with Ime the next year, and then you come in. So I mean, yeah,
I'm with you. I think Brad Stevens is loyal. I think he's loyal enough. He's not that type of person. So yeah, I'm with you. That's a thought out there.
Yeah, because they did Brad the same way. They gave Brad some years where people were like, maybe it's time to go in a different direction, but they held strong and stuck with Brad until the time they moved him up to the front office. So
yeah. So we gotta talk about the Western Conference, fellas. So we gotta talk about the Wolves 117-110 win over the Golden State Warriors. And now the Timberwolves are now on the verge of the Western Conference Finals with a 3-1 lead. So, fellas, what we got thoughts on Game 4 of this of the Wolves and the Warriors? I'll go read you first, X. My bad. Yeah, go first, X.
You can clearly see how bad the Warriors need Steph. I mean, because the offense looks stagnant and it's like it's nothing really happening. And then Jimmy took what 9 field goal attempts in what was considered a must-win game for Golden State. You have to attempt at least 15 or more shots to give your team a chance to win. Like he let Draymond take more shot attempts. When does that ever happen? But aside from that, I got to give credit to Ant-Man, Julius Randle, and even Mike Conley hit double figures last night. What he was averaging, 3 points a game in this series. So I think Minnesota is just playing on a different level. Clearly playing on a different level. Them getting to the 6th seed was probably the best thing that happened to them.
Yeah. Sure. What's your thoughts, Mel?
One thing, X, that I like to do is I like to say this: like, you have all these assistant coaches, you have all these recruits, you have all these different people that you're paying really, really good money for. Would they all know that if Steph go down, and he can go down, he's had problems where he was injured, and you're the Warriors, you are in the top 3 of bringing the most money in the NBA. How do you not have a plan B or C if something happens to Clay and you're in the playoffs when you're a championship organization? I just don't understand it. And you got Jimmy Butler out there, and you got a couple players, veterans that actually got rings or been in the playoffs damn near their whole career. I do not understand how you don't have a plan. If I have a job, you know what I mean? If I'm working at a grocery store, we from Virginia. If I'm at Food Line and it's the holiday and I got a feeling the truck is going to be late, that means I'm going to have a plan B. So just in case my morning customers get their product that they want, you know what I mean? Because it's the 4th of July and they trying to have cookouts. I just don't understand that. I just really, so Steve Kerr played 13 players. And then I'm looking at, you got Gary Payton II, right? And you paid him 16 minutes. You paid what? Looney got 14, played Looney 14 minutes. I just don't understand. And I'm not Steve Kerr, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, I would have guessed, okay, he's out. Let's make a plan so we can. They had 80. It was 39-79 on the Timberwolves, and the Warriors had 37. They made 37 shots out of 85 shots. When you look at the stats, a lot of the rebounds was the same. The assists wasn't too much. Everything wasn't too far off. It's just really they needed some more scoring from Buddy Hield, who got 13 points. And then Butler and Green got 14 points each. Like, what are we really talking? Like, I just don't understand the mindset of it. Like, we all know the Warriors play a certain way. But if Clay and Steph ain't there, you definitely got to come with something different. And really, they don't have a point guard that can even set that up. So I have a question, and I'm going to move on. Do you think they should have kept Chris Paul?
From a financial standpoint, if you would have got him for cheap, yes. But on his contract, probably not, because of just the if you had to pay him big money, he wouldn't have been worth it. Like you said, you do need a point guard.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's cheap now. I think you still pay, he's decent, but I don't think he's as expensive as he was, especially after companies, a few people didn't even want to sign him. But that's just my take. That's just my take.
You're right. Looking back on it, I probably would have kept him, but they probably didn't figure Steph would have pulled his hammy in the game 1 of the second round. So.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it just goes back to, we all know that this team is relying on Steph Curry. He's the reason why they're still their team is still relevant. Just as far as even being this far. So when the person who takes you to the dance pull a hammy, these things are going to happen, unfortunately. And like you said, getting a guy like a Jimmy Butler, in theory, is supposed to help kind of mitigate those type of situations. Not necessarily, as far as help, as far as in clutch times, like, hey, kind of alleviate kind of stuff at times, with primary score every single day, have to carry this team. But that's the thing where with him, and then it's weird, the person who we've always kind of questioned as far as being the inconsistent one actually showed up at Jonathan Kuminga. He had 23 points off the bench.
Yeah, 23 points.
And it's just one of those, and that's just one of those where it just wasn't their night, I think, in the person's opinion, especially when you have like guys who, you talked about as far as guys who should be playing an elevated role, and Buddy Hield and Jimmy Butler, especially considering the fact that Curry's out, 27 points combined, and you won't win a game like this, regardless of that type of nature. So it's just one of those where, it got to a point where the others didn't show up, and that's going to be the biggest thing in this series. If you would have had that contribution coupled with for Stephen Curry, this series would definitely be a lot different. And then because you're really not seeing them, because pretty much essentially once Curry went down, we automatically knew the series was over because you just look at this whole totality of it, and like you said, and that to kind of more so of a Warriors conversation of it, but like with the Timberwolves, what they're doing, and you're looking at what what and Julius Randle's doing, and that's another thing where Ant is just balling, he's just doing his thing, and he's one now, as far as like he's just taking on this, taking on the role for Timberwolves. He's that Superman. He's the one that like, hey, I'm a ball, y'all, pretty much y'all follow my lead, and that's what he's doing. And so all more credit to the Wolves, and plus they've been down this road before too. So that's one of the things where I think, unlike Houston, where they kind of failed, in Game 7 versus this team, they've been here. They've been, they've got to the West Conference Championship last year, and looks like they're headed that way this year. So, but yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
It's easy for Ant-Man to do it. I mean, Randall's been balling. Randall's been their coaches have been coaching. They done made Rudy Gobert an offensive threat where he's getting 6 to 12 points, which that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Take advantage of him. And then you got McDaniels. Was it McDaniels? I think it was McDaniels where he got 13 rebounds. So like he's like Hart. Like they putting him, he may not score, but he can score if he want to. They just putting him in different positions where he's still being able to show his dominance in a different way. But I mean, Randall got 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 31 points. Like if Butler hurt, like I mean, Kuminga's supposed to be starting, man. Like he was on the bench. Like it's always seemed like it's been a problem with him and the Warriors. Like he's supposed to be starting. It's just I don't know. This season's been really weird.
And I think
because he's inconsistent.
And I think that's why he's playing like that now. He has that chip on his shoulder. He has that attitude like, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Like, you should have been playing me. Should have been giving me more minutes.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the clips where he was doing shoot around and his friends was throwing him the ball? Did y'all see that clip?
But I see that clip.
Oh, y'all got to look that up. He's doing shoot around, and all his homeboys with Timberlands on and everything is throwing him the ball while he's doing shoot around.
But yeah, and that's the thing with him. It's like he's so up and down. Where it's like, because in theory he should be their second option. He should be, obviously.
He was supposed to take the load off of Draymond.
Or mine, right?
Those two were supposed to switch. Draymond go to the bench, Kuminga in the starting lineup for, like you said, more offense. So,
right, and you're getting it in small doses, which in this predicament, where you without Curry, you need that nightly, coupled with Jimmy and Buddy Hield. You need that production from out of those three guys, and they're not and they're not getting it every single game, and you're seeing that now in this series. So
this offseason,
Mike Dunleavy.
This offseason, Golden State needs to get a backup point guard. They need to go find one. They need to go find one.
Yeah. Yeah, because and they see in this series just like anything. and that's the thing where you've seen just throughout this whole dynasty of the Golden State Warriors, not necessarily, as far as from, pretty even back to the Mark Jackson days to present day, where trying to find that depth, and now the depth is really, really thin. You had some guys even back in the championship days, but now that depth is really, really thin. Like you said, now, like as far as playing multiple guys, and you look at how essentially it's been like a musical chairs when it comes to starting lineups, like especially in that game too. It was almost like, what the hell are we doing? Like, just playing musical chairs with the rotations.
See, this series right here, they need a Jordan Poole. Instant offense.
Yep.
They need a Jordan Poole for this series right here.
Yep.
They
should have kept him. Period.
Yeah, they should have kept him. But it's just like what you said. He's supposed to take Draymond's spot. But man, come on, let's be honest. Like, it's very political there. Like, remember KD was there? KD's not there anymore. I wonder why. You just said I didn't even think about that, and you're saying. I'm telling you that there's a clip out there that he's doing. Kuminga's doing shoot around with his homeboys, and you know where I saw it on another podcast that comes on Monday through Thursday, and they showed it, and I was like, so something definitely personal is going on with that organization. I'm not trying to spill no tea, but when you really break it down, like it's like. And I don't even think Steph is that type of person. Like, he's a prima donna. I just think that they trying everything they can to keep him a certain way and don't want nobody to overstep their boundaries and outshine. And I don't think it's a good look. I'm just saying, when you really just sit back and you just pay attention, like they didn't want to play. It's a lot of dudes they didn't want to pay, or they start treating a certain way. Even what's the dude that used to come off the bench? I'm tired. That played with them back in the day. Used to play for the oh man, I'm tripping. Used to play for the 76ers and the Nuggets.
Iguodala?
Oh,
Yeah. And he wrote a book about him and how he was treated. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. Most organizations that bring in money, that it's always some drama. I get it, but man, they played 13 players. Looney, Kuminga, a lot of dudes played on other championship Warrior teams, and I just don't understand why you didn't have a game plan for that. It can't always be Steph. That's just the truth. That's a certain type of way y'all play. You can't just be that way and just say this is how we're gonna play. You gotta adjust.
But that's the thing. it's great in theory, but when your option is gone, like you said, that's what they got to address in the offseason. And it's weird that at this point they got like a cold, harsh reality, like without Steph. Because obviously they've been around, obviously, in the 2020 season,
Right.
when he got hurt. But yeah, I mean, it's just like you said, it's just they just won't expect this. It's like everything. You have a plan until you get punched in the face.
Right.
And they got punched in the face with Steph being out, and don't reevaluate him the next day. Just let him enjoy summer. Let him go to Cancun next week.
Yeah,
let the hamstring heal.
I know we got to move on, but they've done this before. He's been hurt before. I remember, and they had a lot of guys. They was a horrible team, and they fought. They had all these players that had heart, and they got rid of all of them. They didn't keep. Only one they kept was Jordan Poole, but they had a bunch of dudes they drafted, was shooting threes, was fighting every night, and they got rid of all of them. And now, like, it's easy to say that because he's always still had other teammates that were like Clay wasn't Clay, but he still could be dominant. Like Poole is all a bunch of guys, but they're not there. It's a few that's still there. I just don't understand. Again, like all of a sudden now Steph is getting older and you don't have specific game plan if he's out because it's happened before. I hear you though.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I mean, like you said, yeah, and that year he got hurt. What was the prize? James Wiseman. It no longer. But I mean, it is what it is.
Woo! Okay, you win. I'm out. Knockout punch.
But that's what I'm saying.
That was the Ant-Man draft too, right?
Yeah, and honestly, they could have got LaMelo. I think about that often too, but that's just revisionist history. So we gotta talk about we'll stay in the association. So we'll talk about NBA on NBC. Obviously we know that the NBA is coming back to NBC this fall. I think during the Kentucky Derby, they had the official commercial that kind of got everybody kind of excited. And then obviously we had some other stuff, some other news concerning the NBA and NBC for next season. As far as what they're going to do now, as far as they'll be playing the player intros. If you guys remember how NBA and NBC used to be, where like for those big games, you would hear the intros compared to now where they go to a commercial break. So they're going to bring back player intros in the broadcast. Also, they'll be using the famous voiceover from Jim Fagan. But this time, unfortunately, because Jim Fagan passed away in 2017, but they will use AI for his voice. And obviously, they got the permission from the Fagan family for them to produce his AI voice. But the biggest news that came out of the return of the NBA and NBC is Michael Jordan has been named a special contributor to the NBA on NBC. Fellas, I'm going around the horn. What you guys' thoughts on MJ becoming a special contributor? What do you kind of see? What do you envision what he could possibly be doing at NBC? Just your overall thoughts on it. I'm gonna go with you first, X. Your thoughts.
Man, like other than interviews or when does Jordan ever really talk? Like, I mean, seriously, like other than interviews or being caught on camera speaking to people or at the top 75, he spoke at Kobe's funeral. I mean, other than that, Jordan doesn't really do too much talking. So I'm kind of intrigued on how it's going to play out. Is he going to be critical? Is he going to hold back? Is he going to go full-fledged and say whatever comes to his mind? Or I mean, we talking about one of the greatest. So whatever he says is gonna hold water, and it's gonna make some people feel. It's gonna make some of these young players feel some type of way. And then you're gonna have people in the media trying to dissect what he's saying. Is he coming at these players? Is he babying these players? The one thing I can think of, the first time he says anything negative or criticizes LeBron James, ESPN FS1 is going to go crazy. They're going to dissect every word he says about LeBron. So I don't think we're going to get the real from Jordan. I think he's going to try to hold in a lot of his thoughts and just give a bunch of PC answers. But if he comes out and gives the real, I'm all for it.
Yeah. All right. What's your thoughts, Mel?
I've been thinking about this all day. I think it's great. I hope that he talk. I hope that he does some PC. And the reason I'm saying that is because sometimes, I mean, he was one of the best to do it, but I do want him to be himself. I mean, he's probably a grandparent now. He's definitely been, we see that he's human because based upon, his son and some of the stuff his son has done. And let Jordan be Jordan. Like, just go out there and be Michael Jordan. You could, and he's very articulate when he speak, and you have when I've seen him speak, his detail of how he talks is great, and he does have a fire in him because he's so competitive. But I think that the game needed, like, they've all done it. Dr. J have done it. Magic has done it. My brain. My man from the Fraser. I'm just saying, you can go on and on. They've all have done it, and I feel like there's generations that don't really know him. They just know him from highlights, I would love to hear his perspective of the game, because all sports is beautiful. And when you see those guys and females that's falling in love with it, and they show their perspective and their artistic vision of the game, I'm very intrigued to hear it. Like one of my favorite shows is Gills, and I really like that's prime example. Like Gil, he was a clown. But there's portions of the show where he really is poetry when he speak about it. And I remember when the transition, even Kenya Martin looked at him like, damn, that's good right there. And it kind of opened up for them to, it's okay to be yourself and speak about the game how you want it, because it's all perspective. And that's the beauty of all these shows that everybody has. Everybody has a perspective, and some people do want to be criticized by Jordan. You know what I mean? It's Jordan. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean,
I'm hoping that he can have his liquor and he can have his cigar, like they were saying today. I hope they show that side to him, and it's okay. I mean, nobody thought Charles Barkley would be what Charles Barkley is right now. I remember Charles Barkley. He didn't want to be a role model. You know what I'm saying? I remember him, and then see where he's at right now. He's probably one of the most kindest persons, and seem like one of the most loyal people that's in there right now in the media. I'm done.
I want to piggyback off what you said. Some of the players might want to be criticized by Jordan, or critiqued by Jordan, but will they be able to handle the negative, like the negative critique? Because he's going to point out a lot. Because he sees the game different than what we see. So he's able to
That's
pick
exactly
out.
what I'm talking about.
So now it's on that player. How do you respond? Do you come back with the Twitter fingers, or do you get in the lab and put in the work?
Right.
I mean,
you're right. And it's and the act of entertainment, that's what it's all about anyway. Everything's about trending. Like, I think this thing with this. Well, we'll talk about it later. I'll save that one. But yeah, I'm with you. But it's all part of it, man. You know what I mean? It's all part of it.
Yeah. But I can say that I don't see him like just bashing people. Like giving them nicknames like, use a prime example,
Right.
Westbrook or anything like that. He's not doing that. He's gonna keep it professional. So that should be good. So I don't really see too many players having ill feelings towards Jordan because it's Jordan. Regardless of how old they are,
Yeah.
everybody knows who Michael Jordan
Right.
is. Your parents told you about Michael Jordan. Everybody's seen Space Jam. I'm hoping a lot of people see him Come Fly With Me.
Yeah. I love this move, and it's kind of one of those things, and I just. Yeah. Yeah, I personally love the move. Obviously, when I think about NBA on NBC, I think about Michael Jordan. I think to me, in my personal opinion, he was the face of NBA on NBC. In my opinion, because obviously, from 1990 to 2002, that was my formative years. So it is what it is. So I'm curious as his role as a contributor. I'm hoping that he does more like interviews with players. Like I think as far as like a sitting down with it, like I thought about even segments like GOAT Talk or some of that nature, something where he could talk to certain players. Like say if there's a big matchup, he could talk to his player prior to the game, not necessarily like at the game, but like, hey, I'm just giving an example. If it's like the Lakers versus the Celtics, him interviewing LeBron James and Jason Tatum. Not together, but almost kind of like in that role. I can see something like that. And I can even see him doing some studio stuff from time to time. But I definitely love this move that NBC is doing because it just brings back that kind of the nostalgic type of feeling of the NBA on NBC. Definitely curious as what will be his role. And I know a lot of people say they haven't really heard from him, but because he's pretty much, I wouldn't necessarily say he's not out of the limelight because he still do stuff. Obviously, what he does with NASCAR, he's just a few years removed from being, as far as the ownership role with the Hornets at the time. So he's been around, but I think a lot of people just haven't heard him speak in quite some time. But like when he does speak, he speaks very well. He's a very eloquent speaker. I'm just looking forward to everything that's going on with NBA and NBC, especially now as we get ready to approach the fall. There's a lot of excitement going on. I think they're gonna bring something different to the table for NBA coverage, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So, is he gonna be like on location, or is he gonna be in the studio? Or they haven't
unknown because
okay.
Yesterday they just said he's gonna be a special contributor. So really, there's not necessarily don't know what he's gonna do yet. So it's gonna be really curious how they will put him in as far as a contributor because we may see him a lot and we may not see him often. So that's the thing where it's kind of like it's like this gray area where I'm just going on the assumption that I think he'll be there for like big games. I definitely like for the NBA final. Well, I don't know because I don't think NBC has the finals, but anyway, he'll be there for the big NBC games. Their marquee games, I would assume, and it might be a larger role here there, but I'm just liking what everything's going on for everything as far as who's gonna be the play-by-play. As far as who's gonna be in studio, you got Melo. You got Jamal Crawford in studio. Then you got Mike Tirico as play-by-play one, and then also Noah Eagle as the second guy. So I'm like, it's gonna be really interesting of how this all will shape out, and then as far as how the games will be, because I know one time they were thinking about they would have games on Mondays. So it's gonna be interesting of how as the news kind of trickle. As far as how the layout will be for the fall, but looking forward to it for sure.
I mean, I am too. What I'm saying? It's just the one when I was thinking about today about the show, and I was like, man, that's gonna be different. I don't think he's ever done anything like that. I really hope that he come on and he's there more because I think the game needs him. And not just him being the phantom of the phantom in the background, like I think the game needs him to speak more to show like Man, think about when Kobe. Everybody thought Kobe was stuck up, arrogant, and then when he retired, interviews, you got to see a completely different Kobe. And I think a lot of these athletes that your perspective is in a negative way, or they just seem like they just away from it. I think I think the league need him. I think they need that to see that side, and you know what I mean. Just like I'll give you an example. It's just
Yeah.
like Tom Brady, like Tom Brady being just to hear his voice as an announcer, and like I really think that's something that's missing in the league because I think he's one of the only ones as the GOAT that's not. It's one thing to be the owner. He's not really interacting as much as he should, and I think they need that. I mean, you
Yeah.
basically was somewhat built on your back, man. Like, we're not gonna lie, like culturally and everything. So like just to see him speak, I know it's NBC. So is they gonna do something with Peacock?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all encompassing.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, be on there, be your raw self, have your cigars and your tequila, be on there acting, just doing you. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's okay to be that person. It's really okay. Ain't nobody. And we're actually
Yeah.
be happy. We grew up with you. We do it. I got something right here inside this, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It's okay. You know. But I
Yeah.
know he's
And
professional
like
and
I
all
said,
that. But
yeah.
I think a lot of people want to see that side of him, though. You know.
If you
Yeah.
paid
And it's
attention to
yeah.
like if
I'm,
you paid attention at the All-Star game when they had the top 75 players,
yeah.
everybody, if you watched how every player when Jordan came out, how they like lifted up,
Lit up.
Right.
it's just he brings something different into the area, into his
Mm-hmm.
surrounding area that he's in.
Yeah.
Mm. I
And
can't
he's
wait.
gonna bring it for NBC. Yeah, he's like he gonna bring it for NBC, and like you said, that's gonna draw the eyebrow. That's gonna bring attention to the network because you're gonna be curious because obviously they're gonna announce when MJ is on. So of course everybody gonna be glued in,
Yeah.
and then
Mm-hmm.
especially like you said, and then the Peacock piece. I mean, you can have some content on Peacock. Like I even thought about the other yesterday. Like, God, what happened? Him and Amar Rashad come together and like had to do a podcast together. Oh, like look, like I thought of, like it's kind of weird. So many ideas I've thought about. I almost felt like I was an executive producer when I found out about this. Like, man, you know what you can do? Like I said, goat talk, all kind of stuff. Like, had these talks with these guys, and like I'm telling you, the possibilities are endless. But definitely huge shout out for NBC for getting that huge get. Like it was amazing. It's a great thing.
Congratulations. Right.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
so a team that might be featured on NBA NBC, the Dallas Mavericks with Cooper Flag potentially. So we gotta talk about the biggest, weirdest night in the NBA history. If you ask me my personal opinion, where the Dallas Mavericks won the draft lottery. The Dallas Mavericks coming off of last year's NBA Finals loss. A lot has happened. They traded Luka to LA. The Mavericks fast finished 39-43, had a 1.8% chance of winning the lottery and won the draft lottery. What you got thoughts on the Mavs winning the draft lottery? And the other one thing I want to ask, should they draft Cooper Flag or should they trade that pick potentially to get like a Giannis or another superstar on another team? I'm gonna go to you first. Ask your thoughts.
My initial thought was uh, Nico can walk safely through Dallas now. Um, and to answer that second question, no, I will not trade the first pick. I don't. Giannis is too ball dominant, and Kyrie needs the ball. I mean, AD can pick and choose his spots, but it's not going to work. It's not enough. Not enough room in the paint unless you're trying to turn AD into a spot up shooter, which I wouldn't do. AD is best when it's back to the basket. Occasional fadeaway, a 3-pointer here and there. But I want AD around the basket. And with Giannis, is they're gonna clash. It's just gonna be too crowded. I wouldn't think about trading it. Draft Cooper Flag. You got your future superstar for what the next. You hope in the next 10, 15 years, but maybe Nico will just come up with another scheme to trade him away to somewhere. So yeah, trade him to the
at the Luke time, yo.
But yeah. But other than that, Dallas winning the draft lottery is, I mean, it's kind of righting some of the wrongs that happened this season. I don't want to say what I want to say, but
say it. Come on now, let's go. It's Coach Live.
It kind of, you kind of get a feeling like maybe they set it up for Dallas to get the first pick after you pretty much gave Luka away, and you kind of set the Lakers up for their future. So now I guess the NBA want to pay y'all back by giving you a first round, giving you the first pick in the draft, and setting your future up. So, I mean,
yeah.
Now, if Nico decided to trade that pick, he's not going to be able to walk through Dallas.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Mel?
It's like this. Like, I feel like congratulations to them. Definitely, I'm sure that that they're able to get this. I think they could do whatever if they feel like there's a player that can go well with AD and Kyrie. If he could trade and get some pieces, I would definitely do it. Because I think Dallas wants to win right now, and I think they only a couple pieces away to trying to win. If he don't, that's on him. Do I think it might have been rigged in some type of way? Allegedly. It's happened before, with back in the day, Lakers. I am from Akron. You know, but I also feel like this too, like it's for entertainment value because we've been all talking about Shedeur Sanders and the draft. Like every time, that's all they've been talking about. I think today was one of the first days I didn't really hear much about it. They've been talking about Dallas getting the number one pick. You know what I mean? So they're trending. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do. Everybody Cooper flagging it up. I think he all right. You know what I mean? But that's just me. But congratulations to them. I'm very interested to see what they're gonna do. I really thought it was going to be the Wizards. Isn't he signed to New Balance? So
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna go to the Wizards. But if he do end up going to Dallas, pick him. Congratulations to him, man. Because there's been a lot of people. I mean, I know he wanted to say, man, I ain't trying to go to Utah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a bunch of them teams just be drafting and getting players, and you just like, y'all gonna do something, make some type of move? Like, what's going on? But hey, man, I'm gonna stop yapping. But congratulations to them. I'm very if they would trade Luka, I'm very interested to see what they're gonna do with this number one pick.
Well, I see something from Tim McMahon from ESPN. It's saying Dallas does not plan to trade the number one overall pick and will draft Cooper Flag. So it's already out there. They're not trading the pick for Cooper Flag.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, you stick with Cooper Flag. Like, to me, I'm almost to a point where you got a second life. Like, this does not happen. You generally you don't screw up twice. Like, you screw up one time and you're done. You don't normally in life you don't get a do-over like that. I mean, it's almost like putting running your car through a tree and there's no damage to the car. Basically, you don't get hurt. You ram your car into a tree. the car gets no dents, no scratches, no nothing, and you come out unscathed, no seatbelt, no nothing came out. That's why I looked at it from this situation. You escaped it from it all. No, you get Cooper Flag. He is your next Luka. He's your franchise guy. Like he's the one that will be that your franchise guy. We're hoping for the next 10, 15 years plus. You grab a guy like a Luka. I mean, you grab a guy like a Cooper Flag, you get him. Like you don't trade for anybody else at this point. And I understand, like, yeah, Dallas is a few pieces away. Not necessarily. You were 39 and 43 for a reason. Like, so to me, there is some stuff that's missing. In my personal opinion, I think you get a guy like a Cooper Flag to help with this team, and you can always build around Cooper Flag. So you can always have a window where you will contend for years to come. So I definitely like that move. The teams I really feel sorry about in this situation, obviously, I thought the Wizards were going to get them potentially. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: that the team that should be really extremely pissed off is my Chicago Bulls. They both finished at 39 and 43. There was a coin flip who determined who had the 10th highest odds. Think about it. Dallas Mavericks won that toss, got that 1.8% chance, and they was able to flip through. You think to yourself, Chicago had a 1.7% chance. Dallas had a 1.8% chance. So you mean to tell me if the Bulls would have won that coin flip, they would have got Cooper Flag? You mean to tell me I'm a heads or tails away from not getting Cooper Flag? That's when you think about that's crazy. Like that is ridiculous. Like that's crazy, right? That's insane. When you sit down, you think to yourself, like, are you kidding me? The Bulls was a coin flip away from potentially having Cooper Flag. Unreal. It's rigged, man.
So y'all really think Cooper Flag that good?
I mean, yeah.
If you watched him in that USA scrimmage when they went against LeBron and them, he kind of like showed out. He earned their respect in those pickup games. So I mean,
all right.
But we all talking about pickup games. So
yeah, I mean, I've only seen him play twice.
Just listen to me.
He definitely fits in Dallas's. Okay.
But what position is he gonna play? Because I think his measurables came out that they had him listed at 6'10", but they at the combine they had him at 6'7".
I know. I was like, that's one thing about the combine. Like,
but he wasn't the only one though. I think Ace Bailey went from 6'10", dropped to 6'7". Like
he's 6'7". Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Is he gonna play? So is he gonna play the small forward? And you start
on that team, probably.
And who is Lively or Gafford the starting five?
Lively, so it'd probably be Lively, AD. I would say Cooper. Who would be Clay, and then I'll probably maybe Spencer Dinwiddie to start, and then when Kyrie come back.
Yeah.
I mean, I put it that way. He's one of those guys where I think that's it's a great problem to have, because to me he's like interchangeable. Like you can put him pretty much just about everywhere on the floor. And I think that's what, especially for a team like Dallas, where they got so many different types. When you think about PJ, you got PJ Washington, Lively. We talk about PJ, Gafford, my cousin Dwight Powell. I mean, you got a lot of interchangeable type parts, especially that 3-4 where Cooper could be there. I mean, I think so. Like, I mean, you just think. I mean, to me, like you said, I mean, he 3-level scorer. I mean, dude can do just about everything. Like, I think one thing he got the especially now, and we're in a positionless type of basketball type of situation. He's the perfect mold for that. So, yeah, I think he's legit. I definitely think. I didn't see him as much. Obviously, I seen him a couple times. You know, when Carolina played them. Of course, I mean, well, you know, those times, and a couple times I've seen them, especially like in a couple games with Duke played. But yeah, he would have been the number 1 overall pick last year at 18 years old, and we're really quiet as kept. He would have been graduating high school this year. So if he would have came out last year as a high school junior, he would have been the number 1 overall pick at this point.
I got you. Today's May 13th, so we'll hopefully we'll bring this up next year, because I just think that the NBA be force feeding us a lot of these players, man, and they don't be to the level that they are. And I think that's part of the problem with the league also, is they force feed us. These guys go in there to get paid and they end up getting hurt with it. That's going to happen. And it just don't be where they put them out. They made them out to be. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I'm sitting there, everybody just like Cooper Flag. I'm like,
but we still got to remember, he is in theory a senior in high school. Like, he is supposed to be graduating from high school this month.
Right.
He reclassified. Right. So for him to be 18 and doing well, he'll be 19 in December. And yeah, like I said, because he really supposed to be, he ain't even supposed to be in college. And like he dominated at Duke. So I mean, to me, as a senior in high school, he dominated the Atlantic Coast Conference. I can't. That's all I can say. Yeah, we ain't talking about a 23-year-old kid now. We talking about a kid that's born in 2006 that still need to be in high school. Crazy. I still trip about that. Yeah, it's wow. That's just like how Gil son is, because Gil's supposed to graduate. Well, Elijah's supposed to graduate next year. He reclassified. Right. And watch you see what they're gonna do at USC this year, and you can be thinking, like, damn, he's supposed to be a senior in high school. Crazy.
Yeah, but the level of competition, I think that Gil's son played, because I'm not taking nothing away from Elijah or anything. So I mean, but I'm hoping he does good at USC. But I think he will. I just feel like that talent that he played against out there.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, compared to him compared to Cooper going to Mount Verde. Mount Verde. Yeah. You're right. It is a stark difference. It's like night and day. But more as far as the guys who like have reclassified, like, and as far as to think about like what he's done, like you said, and like you said, Gil, he was transparent, honest about the situation. Like, yeah, I mean, he go to Chatsworth, but hey, he be scoring like 50-something points. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
but
like you said, the competition.
But Gil did the same thing when Gil was in high school.
When he's in the Valley.
Yeah, he played against Valley players. So I mean, like I said, I don't know nothing about California or the Valley players or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure that level of competition is different than what it is playing against the boys in the city, stuff like that. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it worked out for Gil. So,
yeah,
I mean,
it
probably will work out for his son.
Yeah, but yeah, man. A coin flip away. You could have had it all.
I think it was better going to your. I think that's the fumble. I think he should have went to Chicago. I think Chicago deserved to get a player like that, a marketable draft pick like that. It's been a D Rose, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. And that's why I wanted the Wizards, because I definitely now. I mean, obviously, I think about Dallas now because you got two rising stars. You got Paige Beckers with the Wings, and then you got him there. Then I thought about Jane Daniels in Washington, and then also having a Cooper Flag in DC. Like, I definitely was rooting for the Wizards, for that. And obviously,
Me too.
just from the hometown angle, to have us at least a star in DC, because DC rarely don't really get stars. I think you would think who's the last star? John Wall and Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought when he signed to New Balance that was going to be the plan. I lied to you not. I really did. I was like,
Right.
he signed to New Balance? As much as they putting him on this pedestal, I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for the DMV. But
Yeah. And also, yeah. So, yeah, man. So, yeah, now we'll shift our focus to the National Football League. So we definitely got to talk about this matchup to start the NFL season. So, we lately, obviously, there's been some news of the NFL schedule release, which we will have a schedule release show on Thursday at 8:30. So when the full schedule is revealed tomorrow night, we'll review it on Thursday night. So definitely check us out Thursday night at 8:30 right here on Couch Coach Live. So to now shift focus to tonight's show. We all know as far as the we had schedule release tomorrow, so they have been giving us throughout this week, and obviously we knew last week the announcement of the Hall of Fame game, which, guys, we'll have football in 2 months on July 30th. There'll be football played in July for the Hall of Fame game, when we have the Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Chargers. They'll kick us off in to cap off the 106th season of the National Football League. On September the 4th, the Dallas Boys face the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles to start off the season. What you guys thoughts on the Cowboys and the Eagles kicking off?
Oh man, they getting ready to. Eagles and the Cowboys, first game of the season. They really starting off with a bang, man. But this is more of a show and prove for Dallas to see where they align with Philly and Washington, because if you think about it, Dallas is the third best team in the NFC East behind Philly and Washington. So if Dallas can come out and score, upset will be big, but if they can just stay competitive in the game, I think it says a lot about what the Cowboys season will be like. And then the addition of George Pickens to the Cowboys, so it's probably gonna be a shootout game one.
All right. How on this matchup to start the season?
It's a lot of little things that come with it. It's been a long time since the two has fought in the first week. Philly has beat Dallas the last 2 times, and has beat them 3 times, but there was home games. So a lot of things pertaining to Dallas also, so we can watch. So for them, with the new coach, having George Pickens, like X said, Dak throwing to him and sided with CeeDee Lamb. I mean, it's just a lot of things, a lot of storylines, things to look at. Even Dallas has won their last for the last 2 years, have won their game one. I mean, their first week games, first against the Giants and the second one against the Browns. So they're Dallas is 11-9. In the last 10 years, they're 11-9 against Philly. Philly is 3-7. The last 3 games, like I said, they won at home. Interesting, right? And then I'll say this. the Eagles basically brung everybody back except for like Kenyon, except for Moore, the head coach of the Saints. I think Makai, what is it? Just coach, if I'm wrong, you know how to help me. I think Becton, he left, right? Makai Becton.
Yeah, he went to Chargers. Yeah, Makai
Yeah,
Becton.
he
Yeah, he
left.
went to Chargers.
Yeah, he left, and then the Kobe Dean is out with a knee injuries or a leg injury, and they did draft Jahad Campbell. But bottom line is, man, they got Jalen Hurts back. They got Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? And I think this year, what I remember about last year is there was a lot of like issues with the coach and confidence, but I think they won. I think they might try to see if they can run it again, but it's real hard. But yeah, they starting it off with a bang. They're starting it with the game with a bang. Oh yeah, and then how many Thursday games? I think you probably already know this, coach. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to you because Dallas, they win a lot of
Well,
Thursday games.
yeah. Well, I don't know as far you talking about like as far as down the line or just Thursdays in general. With the
In
Cowboys?
general.
Uh, yeah. Well, I'm not sure as far as this upcoming season because we won't know until tomorrow the whole schedule that's wise. I didn't mind it. I mean it's an NFC East game, so obviously I know a lot of people looking at this. It's gonna be a blowout. I'm like, I would not hedge my bets on this being a blowout. I mean, I can definitely see this game being very competitive because it's the NFC East. I mean, it's a division game, not just it is an NFC East game and it's a division game. So Dallas, like I said, it's a good barometer to see where they are. If they can make this a close game, and I definitely think they will come out very confident, knowing, hey, we went toe to toe with the defending Super Bowl champions. So I definitely think that's going to be a good thing for them. Part of me, I kind of wanted Washington to play Philly in week one. I will be honest with you. That's what I wanted from the jump, especially considering the fact how last year ended. Because this essentially would be Washington, quote unquote, regular season Super Bowl. So to kind of get that out the way, so it won't be a situation where if we, because obviously we won't play Philly at home until December 20th, the Saturday before Christmas. So I'm hoping we're going to have another game between that. Hopefully we don't have to play them at Philly in week 18. Hopefully we'll play them earlier because obviously you look at that type of games, like you're gonna look ahead. So, like, say if we got a game against somebody, and then you got Philly the next week, there's the potential that you could be looking ahead. But yeah, I'm cool with it. Like you said, the start of the season, you do have obviously you look at how the Dallas Cowboys and just how they are as far as when it comes to ratings and also just their fandom in general. They put butts in seats in the stadium, and they put butts on televisions and apps and wherever the game is being televised. So they will draw that type of fanfare. So I mean, I'm cool with it. Week one NFC East rivalry. Hey, why not? But but definitely looking forward to tomorrow releasing of the schedule release, and we'll be back on Thursday to preview, not to preview, but more so to review the upcoming 2025 season, which is definitely going to be a very fun show on Thursday. So we're going to talk about our final topic of the night. We're going to talk about Derek Carr. Derek Carr, very interesting on Saturday. He announced that he is retiring from the NFL, the former Raiders and Saints quarterback. So he suffered a severe rotator cuff injury. So essentially, if he would have came back, he pretty much would have been out for the 2025 season. So essentially, he called it quits. His accomplishments include a 4-time Pro Bowler. His jersey number 4 is retired at Fresno State. He is the Raiders franchise leader in passing touchdowns, passing yards, and pass completion percentage. In his career, he amassed 41,245 passing yards, 257 touchdowns, and with a 65% completion rate. Fellas, I'm gonna go around the horn. What you guys thoughts on the career of Derek Carr? What's your first X? What you got?
I would say decent quarterback. He had some years where he put up numbers, but other than that, the one time I can remember him in the playoffs, he got hurt like as soon as the game started. Or did he get hurt before the playoff game? I can't remember which one.
Before, I think it was 2016 when he broke his leg. Remember he had that like the almost MVP type year,
Yeah.
and he broke his leg. And then Connor Cook came in and they lost to the Texans.
Was that in the playoffs? Was that that was in the playoffs, right?
He got hurt maybe like a week or two before the playoffs. So he got hurt like at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, but yeah, other than that, decent quarterback. Nothing really stands out as much. I think the only plus is, well, not the only plus, but being a 4-time Pro Bowl and then being the Raiders all-time leader in touchdowns is pretty pretty cool. I don't think the Raiders will retire his jersey. And his 2 seasons with the Saints, pretty much forgettable. When they beat Dallas by 40-14, they went on like a 8-9 game losing streak. So it was, I was a decent quarterback. I mean, it's kind of hard to say anything else about Derek Carr because he didn't really do anything postseason wise. The year he got Devontae out there with him, who was it? They played one season together, and Devontae didn't have the numbers that he had in Green Bay, so that kind of was like, I'm trying to think. So, who left first? Was it him or Gruden?
It was
Gruden wasn't, because Gruden wasn't a fan of his at all.
No.
And I kind of feel like that, and I kind of feel like that kind of, I'm not gonna say started a decline, but it kind of like messed with him from there on out because he really wasn't the same quarterback he was before the Gruden stuff happened. I think it kind of just like messed with his confidence. He didn't have the belief of his coach. And in the NFL, especially as a NFL quarterback, you need your coach to believe in you. You want your coach to want you there. So, I mean, I'm by all means, I'm not trying to place any blame at the feet of John Gruden, but it's just Derek Carr was a decent NFL quarterback. Nothing really, like I said, stands out. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't think. I'm confident enough to say that he's not a Hall of Famer. Other than that, get that shoulder fixed, get the shoulder healthy. He may try to come back. Maybe he wanted to get out of New Orleans because that quarterback, what they got, 4 or 5 quarterbacks?
I think 3 now. Yeah.
3?
Yeah.
Maybe this is his way out of New Orleans. And maybe give it Maybe next year we'll see him back. Well, not this next season. Maybe we'll see him back. So maybe we'll have this discussion again later on down the road.
Potentially. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Mel?
I mean, same thing. Decent. Seemed like a nice guy. Decent. Decent quarterback. And I think he's had some major problems with drama and stuff with Gruden, Antonio Brown, and then going to the Saints. Um, but decent. He's put up numbers. I think his injuries was kind of held him back. I was thinking the same thing. I think he redid his contract. I think to necessarily help the Saints, and he's having some major problems with this injury. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe he needs to sit down and get healthy. Focus on that, and then he could probably come. Maybe I was thinking the same thing. Come back, even just being like a third or a second. You know what I mean? Because I've always looked at him, even though he's put up numbers. I always kind of looked at him as probably more of a second. He probably, in some type of way was. But hey man, happy retirement. It's only like I said, he didn't have. I don't remember too many playoff games and no Super Bowl, but he's had a pretty good career. Like you said, decent quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the heartbreaking thing about this whole thing with Derek Carr, like I can see 20 years from now, somebody on TikTok saying name a random NFL player and somebody gonna say Derek Carr and people will be like, who? And I think that's a heartbreaking thing about it, because I think when you look at Derek Carr, no, I'm being for real. Like you said, and like what you were saying, X, earlier, because Derek Carr had a lot of potential, especially early on. Like you think about his rookie year, he was solid. Going into that third year, even though Matt Ryan was going to win the MVP that year, but he was at the table of the conversation of MVP talk in 2016. Then he gets hurt. That somewhat of a good season there. Then you look at, like, after you talked about the whole John Gruden thing, when he got let go in October 2021, then all of a sudden the Raiders made this valiant comeback. They made the playoffs, and then obviously they lost to Cincinnati Bengals, who eventually went to Super Bowl that year. And that's the only really time you thought about postseason. And then the injury. Then you even think about, and I still think about that bonehead play against the Giants when he was running, and that's when he hurt his shoulder. And I think to myself, why did he do why did he die for that? I was always like, why did he do that? And now you just look at that potentially it was a in his case, it forced him to retire in my personal opinion because of the rehab and what have you. He was one that's really where he's like a what if. Like, what if everything worked out for him? What if, like you in his form in his prime didn't have a guy like a Gruden on as his coach? What if he didn't get hurt in 2016? What if, what if he would have went to another team? Like, I think he left the Raiders maybe a year or two late. Where I think if he would have went to, I even thought about places. Maybe I think going into maybe after that 2021 season, potentially going somewhere. Potentially, I think because he understand with another year, and then that's when they let him go, because that's when that year with Devontae that really didn't work out, and then they shipped Derek Carr out to New Orleans. Yeah, he's just gonna be someone where, unfortunately, when you look at the quarterbacks of the 2010s, he's unfortunately going to be one of the guys that's going to be kind of forgotten out the bunch. But like you said, he had a fairly decent career, considering the fact everything that kind of came with the circumstance, with everything that happened. And then, like you said, I just remember his leadership. I think about the time with the whole Henry Ruggs situation, and he really kind of put things in perspective. I think that's one thing too, where I think he handled it with great class. I think a lot of people, and I understood where he came from. It wasn't necessarily casting Henry Rugg as an angel in this sense. He just cast him. Hey, he made a mistake. I still gonna love him regardless of what he did, and he also did mention was very empathetic and sympathetic to the woman who lost her life. And, that situation. He was empathetic in that situation, but he also provided cancer on the other end because obviously, when you think about the situation, there was the Henry Ruggs angle, which a lot of people kind of didn't touch because obviously, especially when there was a fatality in the situation. But I think Derek Carr, how he addressed the media during that time period, I definitely think it was very. It was, to me, it was refreshing. I think it was one of those where it was that shows me like the type of leadership that Derek Carr has. So it's just one of those where, like I said, that's all the good things that he has done in his career. It's just going to be overshadowed by the injuries and the lack of postseason play. Like I said, 20 years from now, there'll be a kid on TikTok and he'll be on the street. He'll probably interview me at 65 years old, 60 plus years old, and I'll say Derek Carr. Name a random NFL player, and I'll say Derek Carr. And they'll be like, what is this old man talking about? But, But yeah. But yeah.
He's going to be a great quarterback coach. Yeah, he's going to be a great quarterback coach.
Do you think he'd go home
to Fresno State? He should.
I was him. I would.
I would too. Yeah. Or go with his brother to the NFL. Well, I can't say the NFL Network because the NFL Network about to be consolidate. But be with his brother. Network.
Yeah.
But yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll round out tonight's show. What we're gonna do in what we're going to do now, we'll do our game ball. So game ball, pretty much we give a shout out to anybody in the world of sports, any performance, anything that's like, man, I gotta give a game ball to. So X, who gets this week's game ball for you?
Doesn't matter, pro, college, high school, or whatnot.
Pro, college, high school, don't even matter.
Well, I just want to I'm gonna give a game ball to kid that's from my area. He played ball at TJ this year. A 4-star receiver, Amari Golf. He over the weekend committed to Syracuse. So he will be a Syracuse Orangeman, not next season, but the season after this. So I just want to give him a shout out and give him a game ball. Proud of the young man.
Right. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. He gonna love Fran Brown, boy. He gonna love Fran Brown. He's slowly becoming one of my favorite coaches in college football. Like, if it don't work with Billy and Jordan, get Fran Brown. Oh, I'm supposed to be quiet about that, right? I'll get myself in trouble. All right. Mal, who gets your game ball this week? What you got?
Man, I didn't have one, so I was waiting to see if they was gonna win. I'm giving the game ball to the Pacers on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals, man. I'm actually picking them to win. I like what I'm seeing. I mean, I'm just being honest with you, but I'm giving the Pacers the game ball. Congratulations.
All right. Definitely huge shout out to Xavier Jones. Definitely appreciate you for checking us out. That was a great show. So yeah. We here. So
Coach, you know that's my brother, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah, because that's when we first met at the
What was
Defenders
that, the UF,
game.
was that the UFL game?
Yeah, UFL. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Defenders. What
Yeah.
was it last year? Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. I gotta give this week's game ball. I gotta give it to the University of Richmond lacrosse team. What a historic year for the University of Richmond, just athletic wise. The women's won their first NCAA tournament game this year against Georgia Tech, and now we got University of Richmond lacrosse beating North Carolina 13-10 last week for their first ever win in the NCAA tournament for lacrosse. A very burgeoning program there at right on Boatwright Street at the University of Richmond. So definitely huge shout out to the lacrosse team. Great win last week against Carolina. Helped the Good Times roll this week and advance. So we'll put a bow on tonight's show. We'll go around the horn. Social media, upcoming projects. What you got going on and final thoughts? I'm going to go with you first, X. What you got?
You know me, I got the Richmond baseball game coming up Sunday. But before then, Saturday, I get the opportunity to witness my daughter walk across the graduation stage in high school.
Yep.
Golf clap.
Oh yeah. Proud dad moment.
Yeah.
And other than
I'm
that,
with you.
man, you can follow me on IG at Game On Images X with an X. Follow me on Twitter at X_J_senior. That's it.
All right, Mal, your final thoughts. What you got going on?
Man, appreciate you being on here, X. I'm with you, man. My daughter's graduating. My daughter's graduating May 30th. High school, man. Walk across the stage, boy. So many sacrifices. Can't wait. Might drag her across. Don't you stop. Hurry up. Don't be posing.
Yeah. Right.
It happened, But great show, fellas. You know what I'm saying? DT Morgan 78 Instagram, Deshaun Morgan Facebook, and I will be here Thursday at 8:30. We talk about on Couch Coach Live. We're gonna be talking about the NFL season, and appreciate it, man. You know me, I'm here.
Yeah, man. Once again, great show. Appreciate you coming on X for the show.
Right.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live, Instagram. Oh, Instagram, Couch Coach Live, social media, Couch Coach Live. Oh, is this somebody's birthday?
Oh man.
Oh
man.
Well, first off, happy birthday, X.
Hey, look. My birthday is tomorrow, but I appreciate it, man. And,
happy birthday,
B. Happy early birthday.
Right.
About hours to change. Yeah.
Right.
Totally slipped my mind that quick. Totally slipped my mind.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely happy birthday to you.
Taurus
season. And
right.
So pretty much Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. So you going to the baseball game on Sunday? You ain't coming up to DC, man. You ain't coming up to catch the Defenders.
I don't want to talk bad about the Defenders, man, but the time me and my brother went up there, man, we had a little runaround issue, so we just
what? Trust me, I understand. We'll definitely talk about that offline. I think we have some war stories behind that potentially, but we'll digress. But yeah, man. So this wraps up this week's Couch Coach Live, and we will catch you guys on a special edition on Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We all coming back. X, he'll be back with us on Thursday, and all of us will be back here on Thursday to talk about the NFL schedule release. It's gonna be a great time. We're gonna find out everything that's going on in the NFL schedule. We can plan the rest of our year around these games. And, man, it's going to be great on Thursday night. So we'll catch you guys in less than 48 hours from now. We'll catch you guys on Thursday. And we're out.
You're welcome.